In the stormy world of powerful CEO James and the wounded but unbreakable Diep, peace is fleeting, a mere silence before the next storm. By the end of the final episode, it seems like peace has finally returned to their tumultuous love story. Diep, still recovering from a haunting past, hides out in a secluded mansion, owned by the family of a shadowy figure who once saved James's life. But peace, as always, is a fragile illusion. Hiding behind the veil of secrecy is John, a notorious crime lord with dark plots and sick obsessions. Though he dares not act openly, aware of the powerful forces that protect Diep, he secretly plots a more sinister plan. Instead of violence, he will wage psychological and economic warfare, targeting the core of James' empire, his reputation, his company, and ultimately his ability to protect the woman he loves. The nightmare began quietly, too quietly. Confidential documents began to leak from James's company. A key shareholder withdrew. The media was a vulture, churning out exposés. Then came the contract cancellations, contracts cancelled without cause, partnerships severing in silence. Within days, James's company, once a giant in the lumber industry, was left on the brink of bankruptcy, no longer a success machine but a storm-tossed ship, taking on water on all sides. Internally, his team was falling apart under the pressure. Externally, he was the target of suspicion and betrayal. And only John, who operated in the shadows, knew exactly how far the cracks would spread. Meanwhile, Diep, oblivious to the brewing crisis, waited quietly for a message that never came, sure that James was just absorbed in his work. She didn't know he was in a life-and-death battle. Back at the mill, things got worse. Torrential rains blocked logging roads and isolated the forests that were the lifeblood of the region. The market reacted quickly. Prices soared. One by one, sawmills closed. James's operation, sustained by sheer will and determination, began to crumble. At his darkest hour, an unexpected visitor appeared. Mr. Wong, the mysterious father of Trong, the woman James had almost married. He appeared out of nowhere, an old umbrella fluttering in the rain, bearing 50 tons of clean, dry wood, the very resource James craved. It seemed too perfect. James knew Wong was more than a businessman. He was a strategist, a chauvinist, a man who had once tried to bribe James for his daughter. Was this lifeline real or a trap woven in silk? James accepted, on one condition. No need to pay in advance, he insisted. Inspection first. Deliver to my factory. Wong's smile was knowing. The deal was done. The game was on. While James plays high-stakes chess with anonymous opponents, Diep is immersed in a completely different world, a world of simplicity, quiet, and small pleasures. Now she lives with an elderly farming couple in a misty village, nestled away from city lights and corporate boardrooms. In this idyllic place, Diep rises early to cook, pick herbs, and tend to the sprained leg of the old man who took her in. Their grandson clings to her like a younger sister, captivated by her bedtime stories and soothed by her calm presence. Her current life is like a dream within a dream, so normal, so painfully normal. But the darkness moves silently through the woods. One foggy morning, as Diep was picking vegetables in the backyard, two strangers appeared at the gate, dressed like policemen, but without warmth or ceremony. They demanded to search the house. Their reason? A vague tip about a wanted woman. Diep's instincts told him of danger. The old man, wounded but still determined, pressed his stick against the door and challenged them. "Do you have a warrant?" he asked, his voice honed by years of leadership. The two men hesitated. "National security," one shouted. But it was only talk, and they knew it. "I've been chief here for 15 years, the old man said. "I know the rules." The moment dragged on. Neighbors gathered. Tensions flared. The imposters withdrew quietly, but the damage was done. Fear seeped into the house like smoke. From that day on, the gates closed earlier. The lights stayed on all night. The boy no longer wandered far from home. And Diep, quiet and observant, knew trouble was coming. Then, as if by fate, a dusty SUV cut through the silence of the forest. James stepped out, tousled, exhausted, but unmistakably real. Diep saw him and needed no further words. They simply looked at each other. He took the bundle of herbs from her back. "I thought I'd have to go to the ends of the earth to find you," he said. "Turns out, you've always been closer to me than anyone else." They walked to a quiet tea house under the trees, a regular haunt of the village elders. Over hot tea and the setting sun, they talked about the past, the small farm they'd dreamed of, the vegetable garden, the chicken coop, and the dog named Hockey. Back then, he wasn't the CEO. She wasn't running away from the past. They were just James and Diep, two souls working together. "No matter what happens," Diep said softly, "I'll always be there for you." James, both moved and exhausted, looked at her as if seeing her for the first time. "Thank you," he said, "for not turning away, even when I had nothing left." That night, Diep returned to the modest home where she belonged. She cooked a quiet dinner, bandaged the old man's feet, and massaged the old woman's hands with warm herbal water. The smell of rice, wood smoke, and medicine filled the house. Then, under the starry sky she could never see in the city, her phone lit up. It was James. "Are you home yet?" he asked, his voice tired but warm. I am, she replied. In one piece. What about you? He chuckled. I have an important meeting tomorrow. But I feel better knowing you're safe. They exchanged small talk. The green herbs were tough, the old man warned her not to climb trees, and their old dog hockey was probably all gray by now. Lock the door. Don't go to the stream alone, he reminded her. In that moment, amid invisible threats, they held each other with the only things they had left. Whispered care, quiet caution, and an unbreakable bond of love that not even betrayal or danger could break. But for how long? As the next storm approaches, the real test lies ahead.